So as promised, here is a video on my plans for investing in cryptocurrency in 2024. Now I do have a little bit of a cold at the minute, so if my voice sounds a bit bad or a bit different, please excuse that, but the show goes on and let's get this video done. So for a bit of context, I did invest in cryptocurrency up till probably a year and a half ago or so, where I did end up selling all my position. But around then I was buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, they were the two main ones, and then I basically dabbled in a lot of other things. I was buying an NFT at one point, which is now worth zero, so that was a big mistake. As well as that, took a couple of risks and a couple of gambles on some other small altcoins. Some paid off, some didn't, and then the likes of Dogecoin and things like that, I was also riding the wave on some of them. So I've pretty much experienced it all when it comes to crypto. And now going into 2024, I currently have no cryptocurrency, but I will be starting my plans to start to accumulate more. So as of today, Bitcoin is sitting at $47,000 and its last yearly performance is 107% to the good. Then for Ethereum, we're currently sitting at just under $2,500 and that has had a yearly gain of around 52%. And in terms of the crypto space as a whole, it's a pretty interesting time right now. Obviously recently we got the Bitcoin spot ETF approved, which essentially allows institutions to buy into Bitcoin much easier. And then of course 2024 is also the year of the next Bitcoin halving, so it's expected to be around April this year. And for those who may not be familiar, essentially with Bitcoin halvings, it happens every 4 years, and it just means that the reward for mining Bitcoin, so what these computers are doing is essentially mining Bitcoin, the reward for that is cutting in half. So it essentially means that it's much harder for these Bitcoins to be mined, essentially making the reward less and less. And generally what we've seen historically with Bitcoin is that its bull and bear cycles do generally follow this trend. So coming up to a halving, we would usually see some form of bull cycle. How much of a bull cycle really does depend on many factors, but generally we would see crypto start to gain. And then as we near the end of that, we start to go into a crypto winter or a crypto bear market. And then the next catalyst is generally when the next Bitcoin halving is on the horizon. Now the reason I'm talking about Bitcoin in particular and these halvings is because the market generally revolves around what Bitcoin is doing. So generally when we have people investing in Bitcoin, they're investing in other smaller caps as well, and if Bitcoin is rising, you'll generally see the market rising as well. So it's a good catalyst to look at there. Now of course I'm not claiming to be any sort of expert on cryptocurrency, I'm still very much a newbie to the space, but I'm just sharing with you here my thoughts on what I'll be doing for the coming year in terms of cryptocurrency. So just a caveat to make sure you do your own research when it comes to this. And obviously with cryptocurrency, it does come with more risk, and that means obviously the rewards can be very high, but in terms of the lows, you could potentially lose everything in cryptocurrency, especially if you are investing in these smaller market cap coins. So make sure you are familiar with the risks, and if anything, it sounds too good to be true, it often is. So make sure you have that cap on when you're thinking about investing in cryptocurrency. So that being said, for me, I'm going to throw up a pie chart on screen here that I've made that essentially will break down what my investing thesis will be for cryptocurrency, and I'll try to stick to this as best I can. So pretty much from the date of this video, I will be buying into both Bitcoin and Ethereum as my two main slices of that pie. These will be Bitcoin at 40% and Ethereum at 40%. So for every €100, 40 euro into Bitcoin, 40 euro into Ethereum, obviously leaving me with an additional 20 to play around with. The next 10% of my portfolio then will be going into Solana, and I will do a full video on Solana and why I'm investing in that, so keep an eye out for that one, but that's my other 10%. And my final 10% is going to be for just random altcoins essentially, so I may go for some maybe higher market cap coins, maybe like Polygon Matic for example, or I may go for some just completely random coins that I think they may have a good use case, or simply ride the hype train on. So that last 10% is going to be very, very speculative, I would think. That being said, I would love to hear about some smaller market cap coins that you guys are maybe thinking about investing in right now in the comment section below, and I'll take a look at a couple of them and maybe even do a video if I find any are of interest. So yeah, that is the portfolio, and just a couple of other things I'll point out is that, as I said, I did experience the last cryptocurrency bull run, and when you're in it at the time, everybody seems to be thinking that it's going to constantly go up and never stop. Now maybe if you have a very, very long-term horizon, that may be true, but in the short term, you can definitely lose a good bit of money. And I mean, NFTs is a great example. They were a big buzz, and I think they will have a future for some use cases, but simply buying an NFT of a picture that has absolutely no value is crazy. And at the time, a lot of people were doing it, and it's hard to look back now and think how people thought that was a good idea. So if that does happen during this cryptocurrency bull run or this Bitcoin halving, these kind of crazy schemes that come out of anywhere, know them for what they are. If you're going to trade them in the short term to make some profit, have that very clear in your mind. But if something is potentially worthless and people are saying it is, they may have a point there. So try not to be blinded by kind of the markets just soaring. So if that does happen, of course. In terms of selling, I'll probably do a video on that a little bit down the line, but my main goal is to try use the kind of 20% in, we'll say, Solana and them other coins to feed them back eventually into Bitcoin and Ethereum, which would be the most stable. So let's say an ideal scenario, I have my Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and then these other coins. They start to make some profit towards the end of the bull run, which is obviously very hard to predict. But when I get to a point that I'm happy with that, I would like to sell them and then put them into Bitcoin and Ethereum. So put them back into the more stable ones. So that would generally be the plan, but I'll definitely do a video to update you on that as things progress and we see how things go. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Really appreciate it. And if you could take a second to subscribe to the channel, would very much appreciate that as well, as we're closing in on 7,000 subscribers. Catch you guys in the next video.